Hello. 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 Good afternoon, friends.
Good afternoon, sir.
I am Radhakrishnan. I am sorry, I just got 5 minutes delayed because the user ID and password were not correctly given to me, and I had to speak to Sarita madam and get it done. How many of you are in the class?
Good
Hello.
evening. Right now, 23 it is showing.
Right now it is 23, and
Yes,
you
sir.
are from across the country. How is it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wonderful. Anyway,
Yes.
good evening, everybody. You all must be having corporate experience as well.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Good evening. You all must be having corporate experience as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay, wonderful. So I, would like to in the next 90 minutes or so, would like to give you a small intro to this data analytics in training, and would like to give a few insights in the first module. I'll be taking 3 modules in this particular paper 9. That is the mandate given to me to be covered in 5 classes. Okay, and how many of you are in training and development function? Yes, Mr. Advani, you have shown your hand.
Yes, sir. Sorry to interrupt. I didn't get your introduction, sir. Do apologize on that.
No, in fact, I have been mandated to cover 3 modules in this paper 9, and I'll be covering these 3 modules in 5 sessions, starting today. And incidentally, I had written the study material for their, for this particular paper some time ago. I hope you all have a copy of the study material.
No, sir, we have not received. We are yet to receive.
Not yet.
Achha, when did you all register for this program? For my academic interest, I thought I'll check up because that will give me a good, idea about how to go about.
Jan 23, sir. January 23.
Achha, Jan 23. I think we are now in February 24. Probably, this is the second year of your course, right?
Yes, sir.
Correct.
That's right. And in fact, I would like to introduce myself to this particular group. You would have known about me also because I presumed that the study material would have been given to you, and you all would have seen a small profile of mine. My name is Radhakrishnan. I am, in fact, presently working as CEO of a company called Enso Oils and Lubricants Private Limited. And I have around 42 years of corporate experience. I spent 38 years and over 38 years in Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited and retired from that organization as an executive director. Thereafter, I was doing advisory services for several organizations in the domain of marketing as well as analytics. In fact, my focus area was more in the last 2 years on video analytics, which is the in thing nowadays. And subsequently, for the last about 7 months, I have taken up an engagement to set up an organization. In fact, an Indian multinational organization based out of Mumbai, and which is going to be pan-India. The company which I'm presently working as CEO is into importing, manufacturing, and marketing of lubricants, Gazprom neft lubricants from Russia. That's the company which I am presently associated with, having spent over 38 years in Hindustan Petroleum Corporation. In fact, you must be wondering whether I am an HR guy or a business guy. If somebody asks me if I'm a business guy, I tell them that I'm a business guy. If somebody asks me about my profile as an HR guy, I tell them that I am also an HR guy, because you cannot run any business at a senior level without having a concern for the people, because we all know people, process, and technologies drive organization, but the processes and technologies are also driven by people. If people don't think through, you cannot get a robust process, and no robust process can ever be put into a technology. That's how I believe in, and therefore I call myself not a business guy, but a business guy with a strong HR flavor. And during my career, I had, in fact, I am also like you all, a diploma holder in training and development. This is a very wonderful course, if you ask me personally, from my personal point of view, because it gives you a beautiful academic overview on training and development. Especially in this group, how many of you are handling training and development? Gentlemen and ladies? Yeah, one, two. Yeah, Lavanya, I can see one more gentleman had raised your hand. I think probably, I think many of you are must be from the HR domain, and some of you may be focusing on training and development. And during my, long career in business, I had also been head of corporate training for Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited for over 3 years. I did serve. Normally, what happens in large organizations, they identify people and they put them through the HR functions. And as a marketing guy, I had been, a marketing guy for quite some time in my life. And I was in corporate training. And towards for the last 5 to 6 years of my career, I was heading the functional information systems function as executive director information systems functional, where I had implemented the business intelligence system for Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited. In fact, the business intelligence system that was introduced is also made into a case study by Dr. Indranil Bose of Indian Institute of Management, Calcutta. You can have an access to that paper if you go through that site. And that's the background about me. And I will straight away get into the subject. How many of you have a good IT background or HRM systems and things like that? Yeah. Hello. There are two people with good HR background. Fine. What I will do is I will just start my presentation. Just 1 minute. Give me a minute. We'll just start my presentation. Is my presentation visible to you all, gentlemen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Now
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
I think we can go through it. Yeah, for any course that we have, there are some nice books which one suggests to read. In fact, in my study material, which you will be getting in due course, you can see a lot of books which I have referred to. But if you can go through these 5 books which are seen on the screen, probably you will be in a position to appreciate what is HR analytics, what is analytics, what is data analytics, and what is HR analytics, so on and so forth. I think this will give you a good, a good idea about the learning analytics and how to get a measurement done. In fact, just before I even go, let me go further. Let me tell you what is learning and training analytics. What is this paper all about? What is this course going to provide you? If you think that you are going to become an expert in data analytics by attending this paper, it is not what you aspire for. But you are all not data analysts, data scientists, or for that matter, you're not going to work with data and give the data to others, but you are going to be majorly users of data culled out into information that is going to be rightfully helpful to you to make decision. So to that extent, what is it that you need? You need to understand what kind of data that you need to look at, how to look at the data, what are the softer aspects of the data, what are the hardware things that you should know. You are not going to, become an expert in any of these things, but definitely, if you are a training and development manager, you will be able to discuss with the data analysts. You will be able to discuss with the IT professionals in a manner in which you will be able to articulate your requirements clearly to them. Normally, what happens is, I had been a functional IT guy for over 6 years. And for over 32 years, I had been a user of the information extensively for business. Now, what I had found is I have something in mind which I would want to be converted through technology, and I want what I have in mind to be shown in a dashboard. But when I articulate it to the concerned IT professional, I am able to do it in a layman's language. And unfortunately, what happens is what I have in mind, the way I articulate, and the way the other guy understands, and the way he communicates to his developer to get a program. In this entire chain, what happens is I am thinking of a horse, and when I see a dashboard, I feel very dissatisfied that I have got something, between a mule and an ass, because the communication gets diluted at every stage, and finally we are not in a position to get what we want. There can be several reasons. One is a normal inability to communicate. Second thing is normal inability to communicate the way the IT guys understand. If you are able to understand how a table is made in the business, and what kind of solution we can demand from the technology that we are having, very many times once you buy the technology, you start realizing that there is a better technology available. This is, most of you would have experienced about it. Any views on this? Hello?
So you're right.
So this is what normally happens. Therefore, this particular course, when I started writing the study material for this course a couple of years ago, sometime in early 21, I wrote this, the study material for this course, the basic, material, the base. I put in my understanding, discussed with the experts in various domains of business, including HR, and then we came up with sort of a study material that would help a training and development manager or an HR manager to intelligently talk to the IT guy and and explain the problem. Somebody has asked me, sir, can I please request you for a soft copy if it is available of your course material? We should, I would, request you people to write to ISTD admin office. They will be able to provide you with that, because there is a, process in which this is done. You can just send right to the ISTD office. They will be able to help you out with that. Now, this course is going to help you only from the perspective of having, a broader view of how analytics can be leveraged in your domain. And you will be able to, if somebody is asking you, if you are working as a training and development manager or a HR manager in an organization, you will know to ask the right kind of questions to the IT guys if you are designing an analytics system for your company. That is what is going to, it is going to talk about, the role of analytics and what predictive modeling in training and development can you look at. And it will provide perspectives on evaluating the impact of training using data and statistical procedures. Now, what are the course objectives? The course objectives are to enable the need for using data and purpose of analytics, understand the impact of data in business and with focus on learning as well as development, enable decisioning based on analytics, because in today's context, there is so much of data available on call. I won't say that in the past it was not available. 45 years ago, when I did my master's degree in applied statistics and operations research, at that time, getting data itself was a challenge. If you have to do a market survey, if you have to go through the survey, I was, in fact, I spent around 5 to 6 years in the market research and analysis function. And when we had to come to some conclusion, if I had to take a brand positioning in the market, then that would take me 6 to 8 months of time. But today what happens is you can accelerate it because you have data available on call to you. And therefore, decisions, the risk in taking a decision is reduced if you adopt data, and if you are able to take a rightful decision, leveraging the right kind of data with right kind of interpretation. Today, that is possible courtesy business intelligence system, data analytics, business analytics, whatever name you want to call it. You have immense data. All you need to do is to use your, business experience, or if I may say so, if you're a training and development manager, your experience in dealing with training and development should help you to leverage this data and get the right kind of analytics that you are looking at. That's what this particular course also aims to do. Maybe you will be able to understand. You are not here to develop a program. You are not here to write a code, nothing of that sort. But you will be able to tell the code writer and an IT development business, development manager, development professional, how you can write a, what is it that you need as an outcome. That's very important. So the outcome from this particular course, this particular paper that is going to give you is, it will tell you the importance of data in making decisions, understand need for analytics and principle behind analytics, apply various types of analytics per need, whether you want to go in for a descriptive type of analytics, diagnostic, predictive and prescriptive analytics, build a learning and development dashboard, identifying the right kind of metrics required for validating the effectiveness of your training and development. In module 1, we'll be covering about data. Module 2, we'll be covering about analytics. And module 3, we will talk about the technology impact in learning and development. These are the 3 modules which I am going to cover. Even though my study material covers all the modules, I am going to cover these 3 modules for you in this in the next 5 sessions starting today. Are we clear on this? Any questions you want to? Mr. Advani, you raised a hand. Anything you want to ask me, Mr. Advani?
So I just wanted to request you.
Can you just show me your face, sir? Can you show me your face, sir?
Sure. So just wanted to request you to go back to module number 1 screenshot.
Okay. Yeah.
All good, sir. Proceed, please.
No, on this module 1, what we are going to, I'm just see, normally in the principle of training is tell what you want to tell, then tell what you have told. These are the 3, this is the principle of training anybody or any group. So I also follow the same pattern, and I find it time tested and very good. So I am going to talk about, in module 1, data and its importance. That is, what is the hype for this data and its impact, what is industry 4.0, then data changing business priorities, and how better business decisions are enabled, and what are the challenges in using data and ways and means to overcome them. This is going to be the module 1, which I will cover. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to cover. And in module 2, I'll be introducing the concept of analytics. When you talk about big data, what is a big data? What is analytics? Why one needs analytics? And concepts and terminology, like what is BA, BSS, OLAC, all these concepts, and what is purposeful analytics and 8-step model for analytics. This is going to be covered in module 2. And in module 3, we will be covering evolution of analytics, typical analytical models, and technology impact in learning and development. These are the 3 things we are going to cover in module 3. So in the next 5 sessions beginning now, we'll be covering all these 3 modules is what I thought I will tell you all. Now,
Thank you, sir.
okay. Now, when we talk about any, business guru, it's Peter Drucker. It's Peter Drucker who started the concept of management by objectives. We all know about it. Most of us have done our management programs. Even today, everybody, whenever they want to talk about HR, they talk about managing by objectives. What Peter Drucker says is, what gets measured gets managed, and what gets managed gets done. It's very, very important point that we need to note, because why I put this particular chart is, when we talk about measurement, how do you measure? That measurement is, it comes from data. And that is why in today's context, data analytics is very important. In fact, when people started talking about what gets measured gets done and what gets measured gets managed, as it is stated by the leading management guru, business guru, Mr. Peter Drucker, people, the entire MBO concept was built on this platform. But of course, today companies and in fact organized corporates have moved beyond MBO, and they start talking about a balanced scorecard system. In a balanced scorecard system also, what they do is they try to identify, they have 4 pillars. Your learning and growth helps you to understand the customer requirements and build effective processes so that your financial objectives are achieved. So you have a financial objective, you have a process objective, you have a customer objective, and you have a learning and growth objective. What they say is, what we call objectives are, these objectives followed from a financial perspective, a process perspective, a customer perspective, and learning and growth perspective. These are the 4 pillars on which balanced scorecard also is there. Because what balanced scorecard ideally tells you is, when you look at management by objectives, there may be very, it is just not one point that if the sales is 10%, if the sales growth is 10%, you achieve the objective. If it is 5%, you don't achieve the objective, somebody says. Then to achieve that 5% also, there are a lot of efforts. And if you have an objective of 10% to be achieved, there are very many inhibitors which bring down your percentage growth, which is not within the control of the business manager. Therefore, why should his performance be judged on a single parameter as to what he has achieved, rather than looking at all the parameters in all the 4 perspectives of key business activities and judge him on that? That is how balanced scorecard system was introduced by Dr. Robert Kaplan and Dr. David Norton. But when you all the business analytics, especially for any domain of business, begins with identifying what needs to be measured. Because if you can't if you can't keep on doing some activities based on the physical task that you are doing, because every task is to be linked to an outcome. And that is where analytics helps you, 1, in fixing the what you should do, and 2, in telling you what has been done. What are the core ingredients that have gone into what has been done, and who's responsible for that. This is what the business also wants, and analytics supports that. What does Albert Einstein say? Not everything that can be counted counts, and not everything that counts can be counted. It's a very, very strong statement which says that even if you want to do an analytics, you need to do the right kind of analytics, and you need to measure what is very, very important. Knowing what is very important for you to measure is as important as what measurement is available across. There may be some people, in fact, I still recall people trying to look at just number of days of training that is covered. That is one metric which is very important. Fine. It helps you not to tell the quality of training, but it talks about the administrative efficiency of a training department in making sure that the training days are maximized and people are given the desired number of training programs. There are different, and if somebody is trying to judge the average number of training days of a company rather than looking at outcome based on training, they will not be looking at the right kind of metrics. They will be they will be basing their judgment on the fact that the number of training days covered is a key indicator of the efficiency improvement in an organization through training and development, which may not be true in every sense. Now, Edward Deming, he says, without data, you are just another person with an opinion. Normally, what happens is people, you can see so many people in meetings. You're all working in corporates. You all must be attending a lot of meetings and all. In meetings, there are people who would want their voice to be heard. People talk about having data. People talk about everything. And people say, no. When I was there during my days in the field, the market was totally different, and this is the people were able to do it. In your case, the market has not changed, but you are not able to achieve what you are achieving. In fact, people have a tendency in groups to just pass on the opinions based on some past experience rather than physically looking at the data. I recall there was a time when the business was driven on through word of mouth or sales guys moving in. Later on, the business started improving when social media interventions started coming up. And in a social media also, people started positioning themselves differently. Now, with this kind of an intervention, technology-based intervention coming up, if you want to know the impact of your injection of an initiative into a business, that can be best analyzed if you have the right kind of data. Today, technology provides that data. Otherwise, what happens is you will only be a guy with an opinion. In fact, somebody was mentioning to me that if you place an advertisement, you will get a lot of responses. It is a fact that responses do come when you place an advertisement. But what is the intention of an advertisement? To get responses that can be converted into a business opportunity. Now, if you study the trends, you will find that 1 in 50 is what is going to be one inquiry out of 50 is what is going to get converted into a business opportunity. And this kind of data you need to have to make an assessment in what sort of investment in advertisement you should make in different media. So data, if you do not have a data to support you, all that you will do is only present an opinion, which doesn't matter. Opinions, there are hundreds of people who keep opinions gathered. They say that everybody has an opinion, but what matters is there was somebody who provides gives an insight with the help of a data. That's what it is. Very, very interesting. Edward Deming also said, we trust in God. All others must bring data, which it's a very, very powerful statement made by somebody who is considered to be a guru in quality management. Deming Awards are given across the world to corporates, and this man says that we trust in God, but everybody else must bring the data. That means, what it means is, whatever you state must be having a sound backing of the data based on which you are making a sentence. If I am saying that my sales is down because of some reason, I need to provide data to suggest that reason. Otherwise, nobody is going to accept. Everybody will attribute sales going down because of inefficiencies of management. Similarly, if you are saying that there is an attrition in this company, the attrition can be attributed to several factors. But if you are going to pinpoint 3 or 4 key factors for attrition, you have to support that with the data. If you don't have data, it will be only an opinion you are based on, some kind of wild discussion, meaningless discussion with somebody you are forming an opinion. Because whatever you have to do, unless you have the data to support you, whether it is a finance domain or an HR domain or a training and development field, anything you do, you have to have data to support whatever your claims are. Any questions? Can somebody supplement what I'm saying? Can somebody give an example? Hello? Hello?
I think, sir, it substantiates whatever your opinions are. Like you mentioned, without data, you are just another person with an opinion. But if we have the data, then that opinion can be substantiated, can be supported, can be proved.
Good. I think that's the point. That's the point we make on data, because I have seen in organizations, especially in meetings, everybody, if you have a meeting with around 10 senior people, I have sat through a lot of senior level meetings as well as.
Sir, one question here I want to just interrupt. Yeah. Sorry for interruption. Data is okay, but how to interpret that and how to put that to the decision making, regular decision making, that is a trick, or you can say the skill which we need to develop. Especially,
you are absolutely right, Mr. Kulkarni. That is the skill which one needs to develop. If you can't develop that skill, see, that is nowadays what is happening is organizations resort to a business intelligence dashboard, business analytics dashboard. It is because of, yes, Rasia Modak.
Yes, sir, please finish. I'll share after that.
That is the reason why people get into data analytics, whether it is HR or finance or marketing or any domain. In fact, we used to have a lot of HR analytics in our refineries, very huge refineries. It's very important. And as you rightly said, people have to pick up the right kind of metrics. In fact, somebody made a mention that people are, resigning and leaving the organization right, left, and center. Then we had I was at that time driving the business intelligence dashboards for HR also. I had developed a training and development dashboard. Because of my passion for training, I had been the head of training and development for 3 years in HPCL. When I looked at it, I just, took a list of how many people who joined in 2007, left in 2008 and 2009, 2010. Like that, we developed a dashboard to show that anybody who is staying in a company for 2 years is not resigning. Anybody who is staying in the company for 3 years is not resigning. Anybody who is just between 1 year and 2 years, he is resigning. And most of the guys are resigning for not to join any other organization, but they are going for higher studies, either abroad or they are joining some leading premier management institutions. These kind of insights we could get when we had to, take a deep dive into the analytics part of it. Otherwise, what happened in an HR meeting, I was hearing people saying employees are leaving right, left, and center from the organization. We cannot do anything. We are not, we need to work on how to keep the employee happy. In fact, we were really surprised when people were coming, talking about it. Similarly, what happens? We used to have union meetings. We had people were placing their requirements. And then when we did an analytics of the age profile of the employees and their family members, and the requests that were coming were not at all applicable to that age profile in which they were all living. And when we started presenting it to the employee, representatives, it was very insightful for them. So this is the way how we need to leverage the data. Like Mr. Kulkarni rightly said, we need to have the right kind of. It is here that the real HR professionals have to put their head into. This is not going to be delivered by an IT guy, because IT guys don't. They cannot see what an HR challenge is going to be. That is why they say in any analytics, the first statement is you state the problem. The biggest challenge for any manager in developing an analytics is definition of a problem statement. That is what makes this particular analytics very, very fascinating. I would, I'm I'm very fascinated looking at the data and trying to, pick up the challenge of giving a rightful problem statement that would be solved with the help of a data. Anil, you are right. Everything in this world is part of database only today. Yeah. Can I proceed? Rasia, you have something to say?
I just wanted to share about a shift. So, since we're very close to annual appraisals, a lot of organizations during the annual appraisal, a lot of employees feel that appraisal is based on the perception that you're forming. What you've done in the last 3 months is what you're going to get, etc. But then, when at the beginning of the financial year, you're setting your KRAs and you have very specific KPI. So everything is data driven. I have to do 100% training coverage once a season for X number of doors, cover X number of people. My mystery audit scores have to be. So wherever there is a measure, there is a SMART goal setting. I think that helps in converting that perception into real data where one can just to share about the transition.
True, you are absolutely right, because that is what Peter Drucker says, that if you do not have an objective, you can't move forward. But what happens is, in their enthusiasm to meet those objectives, it becomes a number game. Very many objectives become number game, and some people, smart people, are able to leverage these number games to their advantage, and very many genuine guys are, they fall back and they get a low rating in their appraisal and they lose out, fundamentally because they are not able to, they are given a target which they will never be able to achieve, because there is no process, there is no the customer requirements are challenging, the business dynamics are beyond their control. And in such case, how do you rate the efforts, rightly the efforts of an employee? These things, that is why balance scorecard, the measurements given in balance scorecard pinpoint the various perspectives within which the employee has contributed towards his financial objectives. That's how it is. Anyway, these are things as we go along, we will be, we will get better insights. Now, interestingly, data is the new oil. Some years ago, this statement was popularized by one of the leading India's entrepreneurs or, industrialists, Mr. Ambani. The moment he started looking at the business, Mr. Kulkarni, you have something to say?
Yes, sir. While we are talking about the HR, that is the human element of the resources, how far it is relevant, or how far it is appropriate rather to apply the data while we are dealing with the human resources? Thank you.
If you honestly ask me, in HR, see, what happens is you need to fundamentally you need to judge an employee based on his. See, HR in isolation cannot work. HR has to align itself with the business. In fact, the Dave Ulrich model beautifully talks about the role of HR. And at every stage, HR has to certainly, align with the business. And when you talk about HR metrics, see, it is when you every human resource in an organization, whether he is in an HR function or a business function or any other finance or support function, has to contribute towards creation of value to the company. And if you are looking at an HR employee's appraisal, if that is not aligned with the business objectives, if a guy is supposed to recruit 50 people to support the business and he is not even able to get 5 people in a year, that is a very poor reflection. And these 50 people have been generated from the business to achieve some business plan. Therefore, if you ask me, HR analytics, within the HR department is as important as HR analytics developed, keeping in mind the business objectives in mind for the business guys by the HR people. These two things we need to be very clear about. And in both the things, what is common is the analytics part of it which takes, which throws out the value creation to the company. That is very, very important. If I am saying that I have done 100 training days, and if 100 training days to the sales guys has not, if they say that it has helped in growing 10%, they need to substantiate that this 10% what percent has been really contributed by the training. That is another challenge which we have. So the data at every stage, you need to focus on collecting the right kind of data. These are the challenges of data. As we go along, I will talk about it. These are the challenges of getting the data. But at the moment, let us focus on how data is looked at by the world. Then Clive Humby is a very well-known British mathematician and entrepreneur in the field of data science. And he is also very good, he's also a consultant for building customer-centric business strategies. He says that any business strategy you need to do, you need to begin with, data. And they say that in today's context, data is the new oil. See, when you talk about oil, I had been in the oil sector. When you talk about oil is a capital-intensive business fraught with high risk and very high returns. Similarly, data, when they say is the new oil, because even if 2% of your business can be pushed up using the right kind of data analytics, the company's share market valuation will shoot up many times. This is what they say. Today, people say, very many companies build their business strategies based on the analytics, intelligent analytics which they get. Very, very good analytics are available when you talk about business. And even assuming that you get 2% increase in the in business income or business revenues, that will shoot up the company's market valuation. That is why they say that rather than going and pushing your product, sensibly think where you need to focus and where your business is going to be. We have seen several areas. We had a product where, which was going at hardly any margin. So there we push the product to get the volume. And where you have a niche segment, where you have less of the volume and more of money, you keep that to make money out of the business. So both ways, you try to build volumes as well as the money that comes out of the business. Now, was this data not? This is the first question, I think Mr. Advani asked me. So, what is this hype about data? Why today everybody talks about data? Normally, what happens in the past, in fact, I am basically by qualification, my first post-graduation was in applied statistics. And when I started my career with a master's degree in applied statistics and operations research, we used to conduct a lot of surveys. We used to conduct a lot of research. We used to do, secondary data analysis, primary data analysis. And it was like a mill. We used to continuously go to the market, get the data, and we used to have in those days, a standalone IBM machine where it used to, the entire huge machine occupying a room was, giving me MBs of data storage and processing, not even GBs. It was in terms of MBs and all, and people were comfortable with such kind of machines. Now, suddenly we found that there is internet, there is connectivity, there are technology tools available, and a huge amount of data get collected. Now the challenge is that you have data on call and in electronic form and in formats. You have a structured data in electronic form, unstructured data, numeric data, alpha data, you have documents, images, audios, videos, name a thing, you do it. In fact, some time ago, I was talking to somebody about how to manage video analytics in an oil installation. How do you put, in fact, there are companies today where they are using this video analytics to monitor traffic at a petrol pump. They are trying to see whether any safety procedures are compromised in petrol pumps. They have video analytics to track such high-selling petrol pumps to make sure whether a vehicle, when it is getting unloaded in a petrol pump, nicely, it follows all the rules and regulations. And there are dashboards created, and people try to track the exceptions or the people who are not following certain set guidelines. In fact, video analytics is extensively used to track the, in airports, they track the vehicle, the luggages and all. In the belt, they track, in that tarmac area, they track the people movement and all using video analytics, and they get, they have patterns. Today, image-based data is also available. You can, once you go and stand in front of a computer wearing a dress, it will show how, you can see for yourself. A dress can be created digitally, and you'll know how you look at while wearing that particular dress electronically. A lot of today, data is available in several formats. The technology enables us. That is the reason why they say the data is going to be the core or heart of every business activity for any corporate. And the hype is because you have the technology available. You have the technology available to get the kind of data that you want in the format that you want and in the quantities that you want. And in you have fantastic processing facilities available in computer. Today's computer, even a small computer can have a quick processor of large amount of data, and you can see the patterns. And that is the reason why data is being talked about, because if you are able to take a decision based on the data available with you, you will be able to have good insights about business, and a small decision in your favor can give rich dividends. Let me share with you very interestingly. I'll give you one case. I was business head for aviation fuel business. We were looking at there is one segment of business where you have to, where service is what matters. For example, if Roger Federer comes to India to play a tennis match, he will come in his own aircraft. He is not going to bother about anything else. He wants an on-time service, on-time clearing of his luggages, including the rackets and things like that, on time. And he would want to, have service at the peak level. He's not bothered about what discount anybody is giving or what is the, he's not worried about anything else. So therefore, his team, which is managing his company, or he's a one-man company, so his organization, they are bothered only about a quick service at an airport. One, with respect to fueling. Two, with respect to the ground services that is, the journey can get. All these factors. Therefore, what we did, how did we leverage technology? When the flight, normally what happens, these chartered flights or own flights come through certain companies. These companies only deal with us. They say that this flight is going to come, you give a fuel to this particular flight. So the fuel is sold to a party and shipped to that particular aircraft. Now, what we did was, as the flight landed, we picked up the tail sign and we developed a small app provided to that aviation officer who was watching the aircraft land at an airfield, just to put that tail sign number, and automatically what came up was that particular customer's credit balance, how much he had taken in the past, the entire profile of that particular customer, only with the tail sign that was given as an input in the system. Now, with this kind of a data, the guy standing in the airfield watching this aircraft can quickly go to the aircraft. Within 20 minutes, he can refuel the aircraft. He can include, in fact, his friends in the ground service. He could just tell this flight is already here. Just quickly line up the things, and all the other customer-centric activities could be done, creating value to the customer. What I'm trying to get at is the hype of data. Today, we have technology which is providing everything. Today, we have a technology which gives us all the support that we want and in the format that we want. You don't have to go through. Therefore, that's what from a traditional database, today the data storage has moved to big data, and with around 80% of the data getting into the electronic mode, we have data lakes for storing and processing the data. Today, that kind of a facility is available to us. And therefore, the hype is all about not getting the data. It is about converting the data into an intelligent form that will enable a decision maker to have the right kind of information in front of him. That is what is the challenging task today, and the hype about is data that it is available. Yes, Mr. Advani.
Sir, I just have a very quick question for you on this one.
Yeah.
It's since you're mentioning all about the big data and you've given us some really nice examples and shared some nice insights. It's all about managing the data, and also, I believe I wanted to check with you if you have any examples to share where if there is a problem in the data collected or if there's a problem with the management of the data, how that leads into the HR function or the L&D function. Thank you.
Oh yeah. In fact, what happens, you see, I will just hold this question, and as we move on, I will respond to this question. See, what happens is the business data has to be provided to the HR or a training, professional to have a right kind of intervention. See, normally what happens is if the data is right, you take a right decision. If a data is incorrectly interpreted, you get into a wrong decision. See, if like I told you, even people looked at a simple data and said that there is a lot of attrition in the company. Then what happened? And then people started saying we want to come out with an HR policy where we can retain these people who are leaving the company. But what would no kind of policy that you bring out is going to help you from this attrition unless take a deep dive into the causes of why people are leaving. Now, that is the first level is people start talking with less data as to why people are leaving. Then subsequently, when you take a deep dive, you will say that people are leaving only for higher studies, and that also if they are between 1 year and within 2 years only people move. If anybody sticks on for 2 years, then the probability of that employee leaving the company in the next 4 years is very less. Like this, these are the kind of insights. And if you try to take half the data and start putting suppose I say that people are leaving, I need to come out with a policy. What policy will come? You'll send them to a training and development center. You'll give them one short-term course, or you will give them an increment. You'll give them a hometown posting. Nothing is going to work because you are taking a wrong decision based on a superficial data. Rather, the insights can come only when you take a deep dive. This is where your business intelligence system or a data analytics system is going to help you. Now, when you move beyond, I just thought I will give you a little bit of insight on what is a bit and a byte, which everybody knows. When we talk about a unit of data that is 8 bits long is called a byte. Then you have, a byte is a unit used in computers to represent a character such as a letter, a symbol. That means if A, P, Q, hash, all these things have, let us say, 1 byte, or it is used in terms of byte. Then as you move on, you have 1 GB, 1 TB, 1 petabyte, everything is, see, it is since the data is stored electronically in a binary form, everything is in the power of 2. That is how you have the data. And today when you talk about, why I am giving you this is when you talk about data storage, people store data when we started off, the huge IBM machine had data, MBs. Then subsequently, we had a processing RAM of GBs. Today, you have, and the hard disk storage was in TBs and things. Today, you have, even your small laptop is faster than the largest machine that was available in the world some 30 years ago. So everything is in terms of the storage capacity, and storage capacity is measured in bits and bytes. This is very elementary. Most of you know about it. But still, I thought, when we talk about data, how the data is stored, it's stored in bits and bytes. I'm just giving this statistics. I'll share this with your team. All of you can go through it. Now, very interestingly, some more interesting statistics on data. According to Seagate UK, by 2025, they say it's just 1 year from now. This record I took sometime in 21-22. So at that time they said 155 zettabytes of data will be there in global data sphere. And World Economic Scalability, according to World Economic Forum, the amount of data generated each day is expected to reach 463 exabytes globally. When you talk about exabytes, if you see the, 1 zettabyte is 1024 exabytes. When you talk about exabyte is 1024 petabytes, it's beyond what our mind can comprehend. That is the way in which the data is going to get, the Science Focus talks about Google, Facebook, Microsoft, and Amazon store at least 1,200 petabytes of information. It's the humongous data that is available. You just imagine the way they can analyze what. That is why in a Prime Video, when you just say, if you watch one movie, it will automatically throw up people who have watched this movie have also watched so many movies, so that you keep on, they will try to give you a lead indicator as to what you can watch. That way they make money by more and more you watch, the more and more money people make. Similarly, if you go through many, Amazon books also, the moment you purchase a book, they will say the people who have read this book have also read these books, which means that he is soliciting a sale of other books also from you. This is how they try to use database and try to automate, a purchase lead from a prospective customer. In fact, Internet World Stats of 2020 says there were over 4.8 billion Internet users, a number which is growing by every minute. Today, 4 years hence, you can, even if you take a straight line projection, you can imagine how many people are there in the Internet. So if with so many people accessing so many software, systems and providing data, you can imagine the kind of data that is available today for anybody, for any business. In fact, when we started a business some 8 months ago, when I joined as CEO in this particular company, I was wondering what I will do for the data, because there is a new company. There is no database, a base for the company's data. Nevertheless, when we started looking at how we are going to buy, what markets we are going to attack, you just type what you want and tell ChatGPT what you want. You will have a complete analysis. You just see how ChatGPT gives you a lot of insights on what database is. You don't have to do anything. You tell ChatGPT to write a story on the HR market in this country. You'll see the story coming out. Today so much of data is available on the in the public domain that it becomes it is how you want to leverage the data and create value for yourself and for the organization is what matters. Now we'll talk about there is in this module, there is one more point that that was mentioned about industrial revolution. 4.0. People talked about what 4.0 is. It's very, very interesting. It talks about 1, 2, 3, and 4. When we talk about 1, 2, and 3, 4, what was the first industrial revolution? Revolution was mechanization, steam, and water power. In fact, in those days, when we were all young, people used to ask us, what is the best invention in this world? We would say wheel, because wheels brought mobility. Today, if you ask a child, what is the best invention in this world? The child is not going to talk about wheel. It will say chip. The chip is the most exciting and best invention one can ever think of, because it is the chip which has changed the way the world looked at life. That's what they say. Now, when we talk about an industrial revolution, this is how at every stage disruptions have brought in improvements. I do not know what improvement in terms of standard of living it has brought to, because that is again relative. I'm not here as HR professionals. With every disruption, they say that human life has, the standard of living has gone up and things like that. I do not know whether it is really so, because we are having, with every disruption, there is a challenge. With every invention, there is a challenge. With every intervention also, there is a challenge, is what we all say. Now, when we talk about the first revolution, it is about mechanization. That is, you inject a mechanical power and bring speed to the mobility of the people and goods. That is what first revolution happened. They said steam engine. James Watt, used the power of water, hydel power, or whatever they call. They brought steam engine, and he invented steam engine, and then we have started having the first revolution, which means that the connectivity between two cities, connectivity, and movement of goods, that was that happened with the first revolution. Then, when you talk about a second revolution is all about mass production and once electricity started coming, people started using electrical power. Then the water power, steam power, and then we got electrical power. Then third revolution saw world getting electronic items like automation. Then you have IT systems and things like that. And fourth revolution, Industry 4.0, as it is called, is a cyber physical system, which means you have smart equipments which can track. Can you give me one example of a smart equipment? Yes? Can anybody give an example of a smart equipment?
Alexa.
Alexa, beautiful. And your mobile phone itself is a smart equipment, is it not?
Yes.
So today, that is what they say is the fourth revolution, is you're having a smart equipment which talks and gives information. In fact, we used to have, and in our refinery, we used to have an IT OT, intervention, and this OT operating technology it provides data to the information technology, where the information technology would provide dashboard and provide real-time insights to the management. That is how the businesses are being run. When you talk about an IT OT integration, you integrate an operating data from an operating technology into a business intelligence system, and you start giving a live dashboard. For example, people use an operating technology called a vehicle tracking system, and build a dashboard where the manager sitting miles away can track where the vehicle is going. Your live aircraft tracking system is also coming from an operating technology being integrated with the information technology. That is what this fourth revolution is all about: cyber physical systems that we are talking about. When you talk about industrial revolution or industry 4.0 as it is called, in simple words, it is the extensive use of smart technology in manufacturing and industrial practices. What do you do when you have a biometric in HR? You use biometric system, is it not? You use a biometric system to just get into the
Attendance. Basically attendance.
pardon? Basically
Attendance. Then also to authenticate or to have access to certain data, we need to give the biometric.
superb. That is when you look at it, it's a smart device. It recognizes the person, and also when you talk about biometrics, it captures the image of the person. And and when a person is moving into the location, his movements can also be tracked. Whether an authorized person is also authorized to go into certain area. You know, there are certain restricted areas where not all employees are permitted to go, and their data also can be they can also be tracked, and you can send the inputs. So these are, you know, certain things which today a smart technology provides, and this industry 4.0 is nothing but an extensive use of smart technology in manufacturing and industrial practices. This term was coined because in your module 1, you are required to know, because probably as an HR and a training and development professional, you will be leveraging a lot of such tools in either capturing information, capturing data, and converting them to information to draw in on insights on HR, you know, challenges that the organization is facing. And so that is, therefore, you know, this has been given as a small, you are asked to know about this particular aspect of smart technology in data analytics paper. Now, when you talk about industry 4.0, where was it coined? When was it coined? It was coined in Hanover Fair in Germany in 2011 to describe how a smart, technology-based equipment will revolutionize the organization of global value chains. In fact, you put a small chip, you will be able to track everything today. And industry 4.0 is happening, and we are all experiencing it. And the magnitude is yet to be seen. They say that even today, the magnitude of the benefit which an industry 4.0 is giving is still nascent. It still has got a long way to go, and it can give fantastic results to the organizations. In fact, it provides enormous data on a real-time basis for the organizations to remotely study and monitor various activities. Like I told you, one classic case is how we pick up the product movement. Say, for example, when we have a cross-country pipeline, I am from the oil sector, so I can give you innumerable examples of how we pick up data. When the product is on the go in a pipeline, we have the pressure can also be tracked. The volumes can be tracked. You can you can track at every moment. If there is a small, somebody is poking a pipeline and the water, the product is being siphoned, the drop in pressure will give spikes in the system to say that at this particular point, within a radius of around, within a distance of around 10 kilometers or 5 kilometers, there is something which is happening that is preventing the pressure to fall. Please go and examine, is what they say. So these are certain things which are happening in today's context. And what happens is, I'm not talking about an equipment providing a data, but of what use it is for the management. In fact, when you talk about a drone-based system, it's it is again a smart technology which is used to track things, and the data comes into your system on a real-time basis. But what do you do with the data is where your skill comes, and that is where your analytics helps you. This is how they link data to analytics. Today, the hype about data is that there is enormous data available, and this entire set of data needs to be converted into value. Data on its own doesn't give any value. It has to be converted. That is where the trick is. Now, this Klaus Schwab is the man who who introduced this fourth industrial revolution in that Hanover Fair World Economic. He took it to World Economic Forum, and he says that the possibilities of billions of people connected by mobile devices with unprecedented processing power, storage capacity, and access to knowledge are unlimited. And these possibilities will be multiplied by emerging technology breakthroughs in the field, such as AI, robotics, IoT. What I was mentioning was IoT, Internet of Things, autonomous vehicles. Today we have driverless vehicles being talked about. 3D printing we talk about. 3D printing is a reality. It's not still in paper. Then we talk about biotech, nanotech, and material science and storage and energy storage, and we talk about quantum computing. These are some of the concepts which this fourth industrial revolution is going to give to this world. It will change not only what we do, but also what we are. That is what it says. In this fourth industrial revolution, if you do not play along with the changes that are rapidly happening around with technology, we will, in fact, it will change who we are. It will affect our identity and all issues associated with it. Our sense of privacy. Today, do you think we have privacy? Definitely, all of you will agree as HR people that whatever we do, there is no privacy. Our consumption patterns and time we devote. You look at Google Pay. The Google Pay is looking at information. Whenever you want to pay money to somebody, what for it is asking. And you just see the kind of backend information this Google is going to have in terms of person's consumption pattern, buying pattern, with a small app which they have developed, and they have given it free of cost to all of us. But when anything is coming free of cost to us, what it means is we are the people, we are the product for somebody. That is what we need to understand, because we are giving so much of information to people because something we are getting free of cost, and we are going to be the people who will be exploited and others will make money. Even today, when somebody comes into your society, the watchman security fellow takes your name, details, who you are going to meet, and what is what is your mobile number. A simple mobile number, these guys, if they trade it out, they make money. And that's why people say that it's very, we have absolutely limited control over such things. But the database which people create can have a lot of values for people. Now, we're talking about advantages of data. When we talk about advantages of data, in a nutshell, what does it mean? If I have a good data, I will get an evidence to draw right kind of conclusions. If I do not have a good data, I will come out with a wrong conclusion. In fact, somebody was asking me to give an example of wrong data which can happen. So I always tell that any data which you only at the point of time of deciding taking a decision, you take a decision based on the data. At that point in time, you do not know whether you are using the right kind of data or not. After you suffer a consequence, you say, no, I have not thought through that I should have gone through a right kind of data to draw an inference. Now, I still believe in keeping data, because in statistics, we always say what the data reveals is less than what it hides. That's how we talk about statistics. Now, when we talk about data science, the more the data is, the more refined your solution is. Then I always say that the more the right data is, the more refined the right kind of solution is. We cannot draw conclusions based on data superficially. I have seen so many people coming out with superficial decisions, saying that the business is not right. It is like somebody saying that the data provides information on the users, but the data does not provide information on the users who identify who are positioned for a particular brand. For example, when you take a data and say that people are inclined to wear sports shoes. Now, if you do not correlate with the income level of a guy who is interested in a sports shoe, you will try to tell the sports shoe company to make more number of sports shoes rather than looking at the purchase, the ability for a guy to provide, purchase the right kind of shoe. If you are having, if a guy who has started his career at 6 lakh rupees income per annum, he's interested in a sports shoe, he is not going to buy a sports shoe which is going to be very, very costly. Or rather, if my market says that people who are in the salary bracket of 6 lakhs to 7 lakhs are interested in sports shoes, then I need to bring down, make a sports shoe and market it to the people of this particular band. That is why I say, to draw a right conclusion, you need to have a right kind of data and right kind of interpretation. But there is so much of data available that you will be able to drill down the way you want the entire set of data that you collect. That is how the data is available today. That's why they say that there is a lot of hype about the data. Now, periodic reports in organizations based on data provides right kind of insights. Many organizations have their own set of business intelligence system where periodically certain statement comes. In fact, when we developed a business intelligence system, I'll give you a simple example of what I did, because I was heading a team of around 120 people who were setting up the business intelligence system. We had introduced Oracle Business Intelligence Enterprise Edition in those days. So at that time, what we decided was, when the shop closes, like in any, whether it is a small shop or a large organization, the owner wants to know what was the sales the previous day and what was the money he earned the previous day, and what was the product which he thought would sell the previous day did not go, and what was the product which was a new product which had some sort of a market for on that particular day. We decided that when the top guy in a company, whether he's a general manager of a business unit, or he is a head of a business unit, or he's a commercial head for a business unit, or he's a director or a chairman, whenever he sits in his car and takes a drive of around 15-20 minutes or half an hour, reach the office, within this time bucket, we should provide him all that is needed for him to start the day and drive a decision. So this kind of a periodic report for an organization, will really go a long way when the top management wants to see the report and tell people that, yes, this is what, in the morning, in the absence of a good analytics system, what happens is first 2 hours goes in collecting the data. By the time he gives a decision, it is 12 noon, lunchtime comes. And after post lunch is always procrastinated to the next day. So there is no lead, there is no instantaneous action on a chief executive or a top guy's decision in the field. So a periodic report in an organization helps based on data, provides the right kind of insight. These are all standardized reports we used to call. Then it also helps to see pattern from small violations. In fact, I used to always tell that the small violations in organizations go missed until a catastrophe happens. Now, when you talk about organization, the small violations, can also be tracked. What we call as, exceptions to the normal practices. Who has done an exception? Who has not followed a procedure? What has been missed out? If a refinery has to, we used to have, say, for example, everything that happens in a particular manufacturing unit to be reported to the top management. Any small activity. So we can see a pattern in whether such activities are recurring in a particular manufacturing plant. Because even 1 hour of manufacturing disruption or production disruption is going to cost the company. So analytics will help you to see the pattern in whether people are violating the SOPs. and quickly you can plug the gaps with effective decision from the top management. Normally, the data analysis brings in focus on very critical aspects of the company. For example, the revenue drop. For example, even if we said that in some locations, say I'll tell you, since you're all HR professionals, the critical aspect in many locations has been expenditure on overtime. Suppose I have 30 manufacturing plants across the country. For example, say oil installation or an LPG bottling plant or any such location. Now, similar location of similar capacity with similar business across the locations, if the overtime pattern is different, that speaks about the management control, HR control in bringing the discipline of people being productive at that particular manufacturing location. So this kind of data helps in comparing different manufacturing locations, different marketing areas of organization and it tells the management where to focus, whether to change the person, whether to send the person for some training. If there is a critical default in payment in some area, that means there is no control, financial control in that particular area, as a result of which your receivables from the business associates like dealers and customers is happening. So this kind of information can also come through, can be managed very, very effectively. And you have a strong analytics based, help in planning effective promotions. I know that in one particular market, I need to promote. How do I promote? I have data that in this particular market, there is potential, but there is no business forthcoming. From a potential market, if I am not getting a business, I have to promote that particular business. And a data analysis will show me the insights about it. And data in manufacturing helps improving productivity of the units. That's how, as I told you, we always have the data coming up. I think with this, I will take a pause here and we'll adjourn to the next week where we will start continuing the session. And we will, any questions that you have that I can take at this point in time? Hello?
No questions, sir.
If you have no questions, can we adjourn at this time and start and continue next week?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So what we will do is I'll continue my session next week, and we will have more insights. I'll try to give you more and more of insights on how to look at a business intelligence, business analytics system and all. Okay. I hope the way I am delivering the session is easy for you all to understand.
Amazing, sir. Amazing.
Because
Very insightful, sir. Thank you.
So
Yes, sir.
I really want, please stop me in case you feel that, I am going faster or I'm talking something which appears esoteric and not something which is at a ground level. Because the objective of this course is that you people are not going to become data analysis experts, but you should know to talk to the people, and you should know what you can get out of the system, out of the data analytics. That's the objective. Okay. So what we will do is, we will at this point in time, take a pause. We'll adjourn to the next class, and we will definitely continue with this session. My number is anytime anybody can talk to me. My number is 98202-44320. I don't know how to. This version of Zoom is a little different for me.
Can you repeat it again, sir?
1 minute, 1 minute. I'll just message. Is it okay?
202-443. Yes, sir. I think this is good.
Okay.
98202-44320. Yeah.
You can. So what we can, you can put a message to me, talk to me. In fact, let me tell you, when I did this particular course, that was in 1993, 93, 94, I did the course, and then 95, I think I completed the 96, I completed, yeah. So since then, I'm a life member of the institute. Institute ISTD, and I am in fact I was in Mumbai chapter also, and I was in national committee, and I couldn't discharge my responsibilities in national committee because of my business commitments in this new company. Nevertheless, this is a very good, very interesting course to give you very good insight into training and development initiatives. Because what happens is, for a trainer, I had been a corporate training head for 3 years myself in HPCL. The moment a trainer says that he has trained people and got value, there will be hundreds of people who will say that there are various other factors and not training. Training cannot take the credit for increased business. So you need to have a sound database to keep on justifying that it is because of the training that there has been a significant growth. If somebody claims to have a good business improvement, you have to justify that. That's how it is. Thank you very much. We'll adjourn today, and we'll definitely meet next week. I'll come with some more examples and insights next week, which will be very useful to you. I'll see if I can show some dashboards which can on HR analytics, which will be useful to you all. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.